Hi, this is Kathy Weymouth from Tune the Temple. And as I mentioned in my last couple of videos, I am in this amazing course called Positive Intelligence. It's based out of California. And it's a course for coaches to learn how to develop the more positive side of our brain and to help people that we coach and work with to develop that part of their brain as well. So basically what they're finding from all these MRIs that have been available now for years, that you can actually build up portions of your brain and you can create the gray matter to actually increase. You can build up neural pathways in the positive part of your brain, and you can also diminish the pathways in your negative part of your thinking and feeling. Okay, so the positive part of your brain, so this course is developed by Shirzad, and I'm really curious how long it took him to develop this whole thing, because it's a beautiful system of taking your way of thinking and making it become more positive and less negative, more positive feelings, more success, more happiness, and diminish the negative neural pathways and the negative thinking and dwelling on negative things that are occurring in your life and turning them into positive things. I mean, it's amazing. So it is a system, and when I'm learning, I'm also thinking, what are some little nuggets that I could share with you? Because I can't teach you the whole system. I mean, this is a 7-week class that I'm in. So this week's lesson, I thought, could be a powerful little nugget that I could pull out, and I could just share with you a technique that is using the positive part of your brain in a really great, fascinating way. I tried to do it a couple times, and I've got such, we have sort of these default mechanisms that have built up over the years, and I got a lot of years of default mechanisms. But anyway, so I want to talk about the positive power. There are 5 positive powers that have been identified in your positive part of your brain, and one of them is called innovate. And what is innovate? So that's the power of where you're making a change, and you're doing that by introducing new methods or new ideas. Okay, so we're looking for change, we're looking for out of the box kind of thinking, some new ideas. Let's brainstorm. And this works really great for working together with someone or working with a team. Okay, so in innovate, you want to generate new ideas, you want to brainstorm together, and one of the best things to do is to just come up with as many ideas as you can without judging them. Don't say, oh, that's a bad idea. Just generate a large quantity of ideas together, brainstorming, okay? And this power game that I'm going to share with you from this course helps you to generate ideas that actually you may never have thought of, because one idea actually snowballs another idea, and so you can eventually end up with this idea that maybe you would never have thought of if you hadn't gone through the actual process of this game. So anyway, so this is called the yes and game, and this is to help you innovate. Okay, so when someone makes a suggestion or makes a comment, the foundational rule that you have to operate on is that this person is at least 10% right in their idea. Okay, so in other words, you don't ever assume that an idea is completely wrong. You look for the 10% that's right, the 10% that would work. What can you find in their idea that's at least the 10%? So what's beautiful about the strategy is that you're not negating anybody's idea completely. You're looking for what is good in it, or what is right. Okay, so what happens is someone gives you, suggests an idea, then you're applying this 10% rule, you're looking for the 10%, and the first thing that you say is yes. It's the yes part of the yes and game. Yes. And how do you say yes? You say it like this. What I like about that idea is. So you don't say, I like that idea, because you may not like the whole idea. You're looking for the 10%. What I like about that idea is, and you say that. Then you go into the second part of the statement, which is the yes and. The second part is and. So the first part is yes, what I like about that idea. The second part is and. And you think about an idea that got triggered by that first one. Okay, so, and what about this idea? Or that makes me think of this. And so you present a second idea. And then the other people in your team, or the other person you're working with, then they do the same thing. They do the yes and. They say, what I like about your idea is, And that makes me think of this idea. And so you just keep snowballing. And what's so beautiful about it is that no one's shut down because no one is put on the defensive by saying, oh, that's a crazy idea. That'll never work. Okay, so I found myself doing that this week when I was talking with someone who gave an idea for my piano recital. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, that's just not going to work. And I was actually supposed to be practicing the yes and game. And I just immediately went into, well, this is why that idea wouldn't work. So I went back and I was like, oh wait, I'm supposed to be practicing. So let me like go back and tell you what I'm supposed to be practicing, and let's put this into practice. So it's so easy to just negate someone's idea, and it's so easy to go with, well, that's not going to work, and this is why, whatever. But if you try this yes and twofold statement, then ideas start to bounce off of each other and grow. And then, as I said before, you end up with an idea that you probably would never have thought of to begin with. So it's a great way to innovate, and not only to innovate and brainstorm new ideas, this strategy also works really well in conflict management. Okay, so if you're going to have a hard conversation with someone and you don't agree with anything they just said, so you look for the 10% and you validate that 10%. And you know what? You know how good it feels to be validated. We all want to be validated and we want to be heard. Well, this yes and game for innovation really helps people to be heard, validated, and keeps the creativity going. And this is all in the sage part of your brain. It's one of your sage powers, one of your positive powers that we all have, and we can actually develop it. Now, if you're going to go into a difficult conversation, or you're going to go into a big brainstorming with a team or whatever, the way that you tap into the more positive part of your brain is you do these short 2-minute preparations where you get in touch with sensory feelings or smells, and you can like close your eyes and focus on your breathing for a couple minutes. You can touch and feel things. You can listen. You can listen for the sounds, and you try to focus on one sound. Like I'm sure you can hear that bird up there. So you're teaching your brain to focus. You're commanding your brain, and you're building this muscle of being able to be clear and focused. And so you do preparation for this innovation game by doing like a couple of minutes of what are called PQ reps, positive intelligence reps. And that prepares that sage part of your brain and makes it ready to be creative, ready to be on board. Okay, so I hope this helps you. Like, I just would love to have you try the yes and game in brainstorming or in conflict management, and make a comment. Let me know how it goes. I did have a second conversation with my one of my third grade piano students, and I asked her for a suggestion about the recital, about her performance, and she gave me an idea, and I was like, I did that thing again. I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, and then, and I thought maybe it'd be great if she could talk a little bit about the song she was going to perform, and then she mentioned that speaking in front of people makes her nervous, but singing doesn't. Singing and playing the piano doesn't. So she's going to be doing that. And I was like, okay, so speaking for you. Okay, I said, well, that's a bad idea. And she was like, a third grader, she was like, no, Miss Kathy, that wasn't a bad idea. It just doesn't work for me. I was like, you are right. That was a great idea I had. And let's brainstorm together what would work and what is a better idea for you. So anyway, this whole thing takes some practice, and it takes practice getting out of your old pathways, because they're sort of ingrained. They're like highways in your brain. Okay, so this is Kathy Weymouth from ToTheTemple.com. I hope this helped you. The course I'm taking is positiveintelligence.com, and I'll share more little tidbits that I think might help you in a couple of more videos. Okay, have a great day. Bye.